Did any of you see the film Jesus Revolution? Yeah, so did I. I saw it a couple of times, and there are good things in that movie, and there are bad things in that movie. Now, the good things in the movie are Jesus, the light of God, the historical unfolding of how multitudes of people in this country found or rediscovered God. The bad things in that movie are the things that revolution was reacting to. The drugs, the deception, the self-centeredness, all of the things in that era of American history that were really negative, and we're still suffering the consequences of a lot of that today, just the sin of years ago, a lot of what prevailed in the culture. But praise be to God, God came, and we had that dispensation, if you will, of the Lord through that time. And when I saw that movie, I saw it twice. The first time I saw it, both times were in the theater, and first time it was with a group of believers, and it was just, I knew a lot of the people in the room, and we packed the place, and we saw this thing, Jesus Revolution, and for a couple of hours we were whisked off to that time in history and experienced all of that. And you see the ugliness of all of that, and you see the incredible beauty of how God revealed himself. And there's that one shot where the protagonist, the Greg Laurie character, he's being baptized, and you see the light coming through in the water. And interestingly, I saw that same shot in my mind years ago, and it was as though these filmmakers were given the same vision, and they happened to be the ones to make it. But I saw something very similar years ago, and I'm involved in filmmaking, which I have mixed feelings about. But first time I saw, the point I want to arrive at here before I close, the first time I saw the movie, it was, I saw the prevailing feeling that I had about it was the beauty of the Lord and the goodness of God, and that, that baptismal life, that renewal, that cleanliness, rising from the water and being clean, being whole, having that direction, that fullness, being in the garden and not withering, but being watered, so those were the things I felt, and it was just a really pleasant night being in the room with other believers, and there was just a lightness about it. The second time I saw the film, it was a Sunday matinee, and it was a dingy theater. It was a different theater on a whole other part of town, and I saw it after lunch in church, and I went by myself to this Sunday matinee because I wanted to experience the film again, and so it was just me in the theater along with 4 other people they were older women, and so it was just me and them in this dark, cloudy theater, and I had a completely different experience seeing the film. It was like a whole other movie because, as I said, the first time I saw it, it was the goodness, it was the lightness. The second time I saw it, I saw the other side of the movie, which was the ugliness of what it was depicting, what that revolution was coming out of. You see, with the darkness of that period, the drugs and all of that. There was one secular movie critic who said that the film doesn't really show you people taking drugs. It just has scenes that are blurry and out of focus. But that's not true. The film shows people in a very well-made way what these people went through when they were getting high and chasing something that was a counterfeit, right? And that's how a lot of them found God. The people that were honest anyway and really searching, they found God. But anyway, the second time I saw that movie, it was the cloudiness, it was the darkness, and so the point that I have from that I wanted to share with all of you is just that we have a couple of theaters in life that we can go to. We have a couple of rooms, and we've all spent time in both of these rooms. Regardless of which theater you go in, you have the story. You have the good of life, you have the bad of life. But we can choose which theater, which room to stake ourselves in, to plant ourselves in, to spend most of our time in, to invest in, to hand the price of a ticket to. There's the theater of the world, the ugliness that undermines life, and then there's the room that is the point of life and arriving back at what life was supposed to be, which is that garden. And so, what a gift that we can spend time in the right room. But it's the same story. It's the same film, but it's a completely different experience because you're anchored to the right thing. Christ, this is the last thing I want to say. Christ, the first miracle was turning water into wine. What was he given at the crucifixion? He was given sour wine. But the story didn't end with sour wine. No, the resurrection, he turned the sour wine back into wine, the good wine. And so that's what the right room is for us. It's the sourness taken out of the wine. That's redemption.